Hello, everybody. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay, so before Bass and Bonsai goes any further with making any, whether it be fishing related, bonsai related, pew pew related, I need to get a little political real quick and just give you guys my opinion on the take of what's going on in the United States presidential election that is taking place currently as we speak. The voting's already started. You know, who's in the right, who's in the wrong? Is there a right? Is there a wrong? Am I racist? You guys will be able to decide that for yourself. Like, really, that's just something. Do you think somebody's racist? Or are they racist? Or are they not racist? Or are they a liar? Are they not a liar? Or are they a traitor? Or are they a threat to democracy? We'll be able to find that all out. Usually, right then and there, the first year, 5 years later, 20 years later, you look back, different things are released, and you're like, oh, wow. You know, this or that, you know, side or country was doing very crazy stuff and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of why I'm doing this. It all started for me. I got into whether it was a Glock or a PSA dagger. You guys all know the China, you know, getting stuff from over at AliExpress. Different stuff comes to mind, and I know I ramble. I go all over the place. I probably make a good politician, but it's not for me. I'm pretty simple. Some people will even call me tight, just because I try to budget my money until I see some real fishing something. Then I just go nuts, and like all care goes out the window, and I get it. So back to the political stuff real quick. So you guys follow this channel, and then I'll get to the presidential election. You know, who are you guys for? Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. Feel free to comment below. Let's blow it up. Get stuff going on in the comments on what we think is what's right and what's wrong. We'll talk about these fish tanks you guys see back here in a minute. They're kind of getting daylight around here. It's their daylight. Their daytime starts around 1 o'clock. How I got the lighting set. So I, for years, have now had this channel, Bass and Bonsai. We've put out, I consider good, over 1,500 videos, good content on. Started out bonsai and fishing a little bit. Then it primarily turned to just fishing for quite a few years. And those of you guys holding out for bonsai videos, you're real troopers, and I appreciate the support. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to say this real quick. I think everyone, United States, across the world, are more or less sellouts, and I'm going to explain that too in a minute. Because back when I was younger, growing up, like we called out like sellouts, like somebody, and they would call, it could be anybody, like even a famous person that just started doing commercials or stuff, like, oh, he's a sellout, this and that. And like, now everybody will sell anything. Just OnlyFans exists, right? People selling feet pics. People will basically be a sellout on anything. One thing you've never heard here on Bass and Bonsai, I've never started a Patreon. I've never started this asking you guys for money. I ask you to share this channel if you like the video. I do have it monetized. I make like an enormous amount of, at one time it was $200 a month. Now it's like $35 a month because I haven't put a video out in months. But yes, you can make money getting a channel monetized on YouTube, but it's like, you know, advertisers paying, you know, it's a process. Patreon, all the other stuff, because they're getting demonetized. So what happened was I went from all the, you know, just normal stuff that you would make a video on YouTube. YouTube started out for me as just like how-to videos, kind of really like, you know, have people showing their, whether it be a fish tank, how to do a pond, how to do different stuff. That's how I got into bonsai. I was watching YouTube videos. So I decided, me and Charles, you guys know Charles if you follow the channel, he's ex-military. I'm not going to get into Charles's background. He thinks we ought to take all warning labels on off stuff and it would fix most of the problem we got going on with the world today. Might be right. But anyway, that's beside the point. Got into doing some, you know, pew-pew videos. And I hate to use words because one thing I found out on YouTube, you say the wrong thing, they'll just totally demonize you and who you are. And they will change, you know, the concept of stuff. It's kind of crazy. It's like insane. Like, do we not live in a free country? Hopefully, eventually a free world to say and do what you want as long as you're not hurting other people. So anyway, after hearing about that, and I thought, well, that's, you know, me and Charles will debate back and forth on this matter. I'm like, nah, that's not kind of stuff isn't going on like it is. Like, you'd be surprised. So when I got into doing that, I ran across, and this is where I will not give you guys any truth. I was just trying to open your mind up for you to go find the truth. There is such a thing as fake news, fake media, everything. Yes, the internet is full of all this disinformation, but the truth is out there, like Mulder and Scully said. If you go out there and find it, you can find the truth. It is on the internet. Had another friend of mine, Hillbilly, says that the internet is pure evil, that's also true, because if it's used in the wrong way, just like AI we're getting ready to talk about. So back to the Pew Pew stuff. I found Tactical Toolbox, and he talking about how they're trying to shut his channel down, and then some of the bigger ones like Demolition Ranch, and they basically, a lot of these channels, Grand Thumb and them, totally demonetized, where they do have to pull in what I call sell out, and kind of get commercials popping in from a different source to get income to stay in the point of, because most people, once you become where you need a car, a house or something, you have to make money. And so they try to do that also, and that's where you can, in YouTube, you can actually become, that is your main income. It's not going to happen here at Best Moms. So you guys know the deal. I have over 10,000 subscribers, over 15,000 videos, and we barely make $200 monthly, so the most we ever made at any given time. So that ship, my friends, has pretty much done sail. But once I got into that, I found that you can find a lot of YouTubers, and I'm going to give you the names of who I started kind of following through just YouTube, and you can also find it on other places around. And I'm not saying all of your legacy, all of your main news media sources aren't a good way to find information. It's just everything needs fact checked. So I'm going to jump in real quick, and I want to just tell you my opinion on, from watching the last presidential debate, how one person was fact-checked on everything and the other one was fact-checked on nothing. The fact that our current president, he's in charge right now, Joe Biden, has basically, and it's to the point now where we really need to stop even talking about it. We need to start maybe finding criminal things that could be put on these people that are basically taking advantage of someone that isn't in their right mind. That really should start being the talk. If you guys know what I'm talking about, some of the videos we've currently seen. And by the way, if I mention your name, your channel in this video, and you come across this video, and I'm sorry, my hands are shaking because I get a little nervous when I start talking politics. That's why I try to stay out of it. I got my opinion, and I try to keep my opinion to myself. But man, it's like, does common sense not exist anymore? We're calling January 6th insurrection, like I've heard it. I believe it was Kamala Harris. Maybe not. Maybe a lot of you feel this way, that was as bad as 9/11. Get the F out of here. You guys are insane. Oh, he didn't incite nothing. The Democratic side were pushing for all these peaceful protests as cities were being burnt down. 25 plus people, I think, were killed over the whole process. Due to, whatever. I'm not even going to talk about what they were talking about. But then this other one took place. It so happened at the Capitol building, all of a sudden it's an insurrection. Not one person from the protester side was actually armed. I don't know if they caught any with any weapons, maybe, but no one shot nobody. I believe there's a couple people sadly lost their lives during that crazy thing. And you can fact check everything I say, feel free. I heard, and just what I've checked into roughly, just lightly, because I did go back, I rewatched the whole 70-minute video. And the man said peacefully protest. He never mentioned go down, storm the Capitol. Never came out of his mouth. Never. He read off a lot of different things he was wanting Mike Pence to check into. He mentioned Mike Pence's name several times about wanting to do what basically Hillary Clinton had done, Al Gore had done, and that's what he wanted Mike Pence to push that through to try to, he felt that he was being, robbed of the presidency. So whether it was true, whether it's a whiny guy whining about like you think you should have won, you guys can look at that however you want. It was not an insurrection. Nobody tried to take over the government. On the Democratic side, let me explain to you what's happened right now. Now, you can call it all you want. You can say that, oh, well, Joe Biden decided to step down. And then so the Democratic Party decided that Kamala Harris, because he endorsed her and that's who they wanted, that was his vice president. And so that she's there, which, well, shouldn't there be a different process? And maybe if nobody would have lied about the shape Joe was in, and if he's basically stepping down because he feels he And as you all saw, and they're still lying to you, they're still telling you right now that, oh, Joe's perfectly capable to be running the country. He just decided to step down and not run again. Listen, think that through your head. If you're a Democrat, think that through your head. That's what they're telling you. That's what you're hearing right now. No, Joe's fine. He just decided he wants to step down. He's forgetting who he's trying to announce to come after him. He's having his wife start doing stuff for him. I mean, it's pretty sad, actually, if you think about it. Like, listen, you're looking at a Democrat that voted for Biden. Sorry, I didn't vote for Biden. When he was vice president, I voted for Obama twice. I even voted for Hillary once, and she didn't win. Trump won. I have not voted for Donald Trump. I was like you guys. Like, some of you are like, and I keep getting in arguments with my mom and my aunt and different people on Facebook, calling me names. I've yet to call one of them any names. I will say what I say about abortion and what I feel it is, but I don't call blatantly, just jump out there and calling people names. I've already been called a chicken shit, a dumb, this, that, because of whatever belief I may have. But I'm like, okay, deep dive into the research on the Bidens, actually, the Clintons, what took place. I'll just tell you how far I've dove into it. Okay, so I have watched, like I mentioned, the January 6th speech, 70 minutes of it, watched the whole thing. I've watched the whole presidential debate between Ross Perot, George Bush, and Bill Clinton. I don't know what took me. You guys, it's like, you know what I'm talking about? And I know I'm going to ramble on about different stuff, but like you're up late at night and then you're on Facebook. Next thing you know, you're like some third cousin's, ex-wife's, brother's, nephew's, niece's party that's going on. You're like, this is wrong. Something went wrong here. But yeah, it's that kind of thing. Like, I've checked into my opinion on stuff, and I think that what I'm finding is the huge argument Democrats have is Donald Trump's bad. He's bad this, bad that. All the while that what they've done in the current last 3.5 years has just done nothing good for, oh, we got cheap insulin. We put a cap on it. Like, that's going to help, which I'm not saying that's bad, but is that a percent of our country, 2% that it helped? Like, what? I mean, and when you dive back deeper into some of this stuff was signed off by a Democrat somewhere in the back that made it the way it was. If you really go deep diving in the NAFTA, the different things with the jobs moving to Mexico and like all kinds of stuff, like, take the deep dive for yourself. I promise you guys. I'm not trying to push you to think one way or the other, but think for yourself. Just because you hear David Muir, well, I fact checked that and that's false. No one from the state has said that. And then you go down there and you're like, well, they're not eating the cats and dogs, but somehow they've magically shipped in 20,000 through government money. Like, go check. How's that helping Americans? How's anything you do? And I'm not saying we're all immigrants. I get that. Unless you're a native-born Indian, American Indian, you are an immigrant to the United States. We all get that. Nobody's arguing that. I went back and, I also watched all 4 of the Donald Trump videos that I didn't need to watch all those, but like, his mom is not a natural-born citizen either. She's his wife. Like, he knows that. Donald Trump has never said, I hate immigrants. Have you ever heard him say that? He doesn't want illegal immigration. He don't want them just flooding in before they're vetted, before they're checked out. I believe the Obama check, you guys can fact check this. They keep saying he's got a ban on Muslims coming in here. Well, no, he doesn't. But what he does have is that the countries that support terrorists should have a little tighter restrictions. It's like, you guys find a problem with that? You guys remember 9/11 happened? Should we have a problem with maybe the countries where are just known to have more terrorist activity? Maybe we don't just have them come in and ask them where they want to go, pay for their plane ticket, wherever they want it dropped off. Maybe we don't do that as Americans. Would you call that racist? I don't think so. You guys are nuts if you do, in my opinion. So, If you have any questions, I'm just going to give you sources to go check for yourself. If you think those guys are phonies or not, and I'll give you some fishing stuff or whatever. Then at some point in time, I'm going to get back to normalcy, and I'm just going to start fishing again. Because here's what happened in our country today, whether you like it or not, whether you're Democrat or Republican. Because I feel Donald Trump is kind of the way in. We didn't take advantage of it last time he was president, but hopefully now with J.D. Vance. Because I also went back and rewatched Mike Pence. That guy's lame duck, 100%. J.D. Vance seems like a way better choice now, but and I would urge you guys to go check when Trump was basically started. They were like, "Oh, he's going to shut down the country if he doesn't get his border." That man was fighting to get some of this stuff taken care of, and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, in my opinion, horrible people. Just shows part of the problem of when you just let somebody, just lifers, get in there and just start pushing their agenda. Supposedly that's what the American people want, and it's like, no. So I would urge you guys to follow, and you guys know if you guys are into the pew pew videos. Let me think of his name here. For some reason I keep wanting to say Candace Owens, but you should follow her. But John Lovell, Warrior Poet Society, very good one to watch. Grand Thumb. Good ones to watch, not necessarily political, but should start there. Go back and watch Tactical Toolbox and any of his videos talking about how they've suppressed his voice. But then also with a guy that I don't even know if I'd really like, a girl I know I like, Megyn Kelly. Watch her. I know you guys, oh, she's so far to the right. Yeah, just one source to watch. Check her. You can check the ones you check and fact check and go over it. And then I do not know the name. There's a couple places. One's called Down the Middle or the Borderline or something. There's a couple sources out here now on the internet that basically take everything from the right or from the left, that they're considered right or left news sources, put them together when something comes out, and you can kind of make up your mind on your own what if is there truth in there, but what either one of them are saying. But what's funny one is to go watch is Joe Rogan. Just watch the Joe Rogan podcast. Don't listen to Joe Rogan. He may be a little nuts. He does a lot of shrooms. But Joe Rogan's a smart man because he has a lot of smart people on there and he talks to them. So you can gain a lot of knowledge just by listening to people. Now, you can also take, like with anybody, actions and words. So what they're telling you and what you see for yourself. Like you could have 10 people come in there and tell you that the sky is green, and then you look up and you're like, they're all liars. So there's some stuff that's obvious, but you know what I mean. I want to say Tucker Carlson. I don't like his laugh. It's like Kamala's laugh. I'm definitely not a fan of Tucker's, but I do like him. Piers Morgan, and what's funny is I can't remember her name, Rita something, but if you guys have not, go watch Lefties Losing It. Oh, it's insane. It's funny that some of the people that I believe more than my own Americans are from Australia and from Britain and from other places that it's like, yeah, they kind of see it too. Like, why can't we? Like, why are we so clouded in what's going on? And you'll find that if my feelings are, you'll get media just pushing stuff to a certain agenda. Like we have, which... the funny one that they call it gun violence. It's like we don't, it's not really a thing. There's violence towards people. And if you took the gun out of it, something would be added, knives or whatever. And I'm not going to go down that whole road, but it's just weird how we have to keep attaching that. Assault weapons. Like, and a weapon's only an assault weapon if you're assaulting someone, if you're making an assault, if you're in a defensive stand. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how far I'm going to go with these. I was going to show you guys a couple of the fish tanks. I'm trying to get back into possibly fishing, maybe doing some RC racing with Noah. I'm not a politician. I can't go down and tell you how all the rules work. I can't jump in there and go, well, this is why Trump did this, and this is why Trump is a 34-time convicted felon. Sounds horrible. This man, why is he not in jail? Well, evidently, when you weaponize the legal system like the Democrats have done on Trump, tried 2 different impeachments, go look up what each impeachment is for, and you'll be surprised that The one for sure is just Democrats trying to cover their tracks on that impeachment. So the 34 convicted, it's like 34 times. I've even heard people trying to spin it like it was all different things. I went and like read through all it's basically the same thing, just legal way of putting it down to where it sounds even way more like it's something, and it's because he lied about this and covered this and whatever. It's basically a guy that was paying off someone to keep quiet about an affair he had. Do you guys remember Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky? Read my lips. No new taxes, and I did not have had sexual relations with that woman. Do you guys remember that? Like, there's all kinds of this lying going on. But like, is all that threat to democracy, or is that just like these guys, once they get higher up, they got little skeletons in their closets, and a lot of them like to try to keep it hushed up. But you can, if you're a threat to the other party, you can be considered a threat to democracy and basically end up finally getting charged with 34 counts and be a 34 times felon, I guess is how it can go down. So looks kind of way, more intense than it was. But let me just throw this out at you. I want you guys to look up the word traitor. Go look up the word traitor, because I hear him talking about a lot Russia, right? Trump's even talking. I'm like, yeah, when I first heard, I was like, man, this dude is like, he's in, like they're trying to turn us into Russia. That Trump is trying to turn us, Mr. Trump. Man, I was mad. Like, I was upset. I'm Democrat. Then I'm like, well, you know what? What is that? I don't believe none of that. Having good relations with foreign countries doesn't mean any of that kind of stuff is going on. Like, we've done it all over. Like, just sitting back and go, oh, you're a big meanie and we're not going to do this. That's how you start wars. That's how you start wars. It's happened. There's a couple of them going on right now. But no, Kamala Harris, she's going to save our day. Like, she's the new wave. Well, look up traitor, threat to democracy, both those. And you, go look at the Republican side of it and the Democratic side. You can go far left, you can go far right. Far right on either side are a joke. And that's what they keep throwing out. Project 2025. It's horrible. Well, that's the far right. And yeah, it's nuts. But go look at the far left too. They're insane. Listen to a Trump speech and what he says on abortion, on the border wall, on this, on that. Go listen to Kamala Harris. Listen to what she says. Then I challenge you this. Go back 4 years ago. Listen to what Trump says about those issues. Listen to what Kamala Harris says about those issues. I promise you, there's a flip-flopper there. There is a liar, and it is on the Democratic side. I'm sorry to inform you, Democrats. Call it all you want. It's over there. It's like, not like I have the proof, but the proof's out there. You guys go find it. If you don't believe me, I challenge you. Prove to me that 4 years ago, this woman wasn't saying that. She was so far left on everything. There's videos on her chanting, down with deportation, talking about just the whole a mandatory gun buyback. That's like, no, if you want to bring a gun back, we'll give you a couple. Mandatory, like making it where we're buying back the gun. Go do your guys' own fact checks on that kind of stuff. This woman, some people I've heard her called this, not Kamala, whatever, but chameleon. She changes into what she needs to be. And I know you're dogging Trump for his sexual activities, a couple ex-wives, this and that. Diehard Christians are like, oh my God, this is not a good man. Well, okay. Go fact check her background, how she got to where she is, and I will tell you my opinion on the true threat to democracy that we face today. And treason. So here's a woman through the Democratic Party, through the media that is supporting, and it does vary, but usually They have an agenda. They have what they're kind of pushing. We made it all the way past until the debate, and I'm still wondering, like, were they just going to ride Joe out the whole way, or was this a plan to get him out, put her in, and nothing would change when no one had a choice? Because Joe Biden picked her to be vice president. You know how the president who's running for president, you know, that's nothing's changed there. That's the way it's always been. They decide. It's literally that person decides who's going to be the vice president. They get all this and that talk from whoever, what should be the best one, but it ultimately comes down to them. That person decides. Okay, I get that. But that leaves it out of, you have no say in that. Then once they're vice president, if something like she should be the president right now, the sitting president, because Joe Biden isn't competent enough to keep going. She should be our president, not our vice president trying to run on false statements and stuff. But here's what she's done. So, not what she's done, what they've done. They've somehow, all that just has blown over. Now, she was picked when they had the DNC, right? Which, okay, is that the Democratic way to do it? I mean, technically, but did we backdoor in there? Like, if, you know, who is she the best choice? Shouldn't we have had some other choices, right? Is that like how you are truly, like, I don't know, democracy truly free is like if you have choices. If you have no choice, are you like, is that freedom? It kind of seems weird, but I 100% on this one. I you know, that one could be argued different ways. I like the American people, no one picked that woman and put her in her spot she's in. When she did run back in the day, she was the first candidate to drop out. I don't think she's, I'm going to put it to you this way. Then this is a huge put down on her. I don't think she's any smarter than I am. So, yeah, I know. But I just feel like I've got common sense. Like I see something and I'm like, are you telling me that that's a dog? And it's meowing at me, but it's got 4 legs, got hair, right? Ears. It's a dog. It's eating dog food. No. So, we have, which the border is coming around. We're still building the border, right? Trump's in charge. We're doing the border wall. That's what he ran on. Immigration went illegal immigration. Immigration, I think, has always been sort of steady, going through the legal way. There's always been some sliding through here and there. You're never going to have an end to that. But like the things where it was like way down. And I'll tell you why I think that's a good thing and a bad thing of just letting everybody who wants to come to the United States in the United States is a bad thing. But anyway, it was where, and Americans, they voted. That's what they wanted. The majority wanted that's what the main thing Trump was running on. So I would therefore say the majority of Americans like the idea of let's just let the ones that normally come in so we have time to check who they are. They really want to be here in America to make America great again. They're not just here to suck down our resources and then get back our government. Our government doesn't have any money. That's our money. So anytime you hear a government funded, a government grant, this and that, that's a taxpayer. So yeah. So it was working. Simply, all Biden had to do when he came in, and Harris, just go with, let it, like he won on that. That's what Americans wanted. Keep that going. The first act of treason was shutting it down. Like, oh no, we're not going to do that. So instantly they stopped the rest of the building on the border wall. They changed this and that. And then therefore we're at the point now where I've heard some people say it's like everybody agrees there's at least 10 plus million, but it probably is closer to 20 million because we don't even know the ones that nobody has a clue. They just have come in since we've been overran with the ones that we are at least getting a chance to get a name. And there's all kinds of info out there on what's going on with that. But so here's the thing. From early on, Kamala Harris was put in charge of the border, even called the border czar, right? Is that Russian? So she's put in charge of the border. Has she done a good job? has the cost of living gone down? Has things getting better for you guys? Like, why is this even as close of a run as it is? It's like, are you guys believing everything she's telling you? Or are you believing, like, I believe what Trump's telling me. It's the same stuff that he was talking about before when he was running, and that's what he wants to do, and things will get better. I believe that he definitely has a more powerful presence once he's like, hey, you guys need to stop that. Let's, get two groups together, stop fighting. So when you look at it like that, I don't even know why you could go the other way with that one. I mean, you guys tell me. I don't know. One person's like made 5 comments. They probably don't like Bass and Bonsai, but I just thought I would get out here and just tell you guys to open your eyes, and you go find the information. You feel free to come back here and show me where Joe Biden was running on. I'm going to open the border up and let everybody in, and I'm going to use your money to do it. But take all of that out from it. Like how, like I'm second, third, I don't know. I consider myself Heinz 57, but we all come from immigrants, right? But you tell me how helping Americans by going and polling and opening up and just letting every foreigner, every other person come into the United States that wants to, is going to help America or the American people especially. Like, how does that help us? Explain that one to me. Like, how do you get somewhere and you're just, you can't, like, you can't get a job, or you have a job, but it's paying this, but it's harder to make ends meet. But then because I just went back and watched, and I will tell you guys this, go back and watch this guy's video. Again, Nick Johnson, I don't even know what political thing he has, but he was the first one, went up to Springfield, Ohio, talked to some of those people, and then went to this place in Pennsylvania now. I forget the name of it, starts with the C, but talking to different people. And like, I've never believed that, we need immigration to keep businesses and stuff. And I'm like, well, we don't like it. I get it. We're all immigrants, but like, I still think that's a lie being pushed to you by Democrats and Republicans. Oh, wait, Democrats were over here earlier. Yeah. Republicans and Democrats. Yes, we're all immigrants and we've allowed it. And I want to say it's like, and do the numbers yourself. I think it's like 2,200. It's a day, or through the normal vetted process of bringing in people. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less, and the bill that they shut down because Biden, the thing he was, I can't get any help. And I'm going to explain that in a minute too. They basically were just wanting to, I don't even think they were wanting to change the 2,200 a daily already coming in, but they were wanting to add 5,000 to that from the Southern. Like they want to make that a legal process, also would help out, and then hire different, all that was going to do. Let me explain that in case you guys don't have common sense. All that was going to do is allow more immigration, so-called legally, adding more, I guess, American jobs, but costing taxpayers money, because that's who pays for all that stuff going on, just so we could have more people in. Here's what happens when you start adding a lot of people to a place. It does not help the people in that place. All you do is you increase, we're going to need more housing, we build more houses, all it's going to do is cost everything more. It's going to cost more money. Like, do the math. The Joe Biden, Kamala Harris have no idea how to actually help a American person, America, right? If you're born here, yes, immigrants, Donald Trump's mother, our ancestors, I don't know how far back and what grandparent, great grandparent, wasn't that far. My mom was even telling me that, like when she was telling me that I'm wrong. But we get it. Immigration is, I wouldn't call it needed, it's wanted. Like we still want that. We want everybody to eventually, if they, but we can't. Here's what happens. If you got this big, nice ship, and you want to, like, everybody get a chance to get, but if you just open the floodgate and they all get on it, whether it be on one side or whatever, you ship to sink. You sink the ship. Like, we're $33 trillion in debt. Do you think it's best to let 10 million immigrants over here, giving them, and they keep saying, I keep hearing Democrats say, oh, we're not giving them money. Oh, sure we're not. I don't care if we're giving them $200. We're not, everything we're doing, and then you talk about abortion. Oh, it costs a lot of money. Well, maybe maybe we do what Trump was wanting, and maybe most of Americans that voted for him wanted. We close off the southern border. We go to our normal ways of immigration. That's saving, unless somebody comes in and tries to tear that down, that will save us a shit ton of money right there. Then we start putting money towards maybe getting Americans to have babies instead of having 650,000 abortions a year. And when I said that to my mom, she called me racist. I said, Mom, I didn't say anything about a color of skin. I said Americans. Last I checked, America is one of the only countries that probably has 50 to 100 different nationalities that are and can be called American. If you were born here, you're an American. If you weren't born here, but you've transferred here in whatever way and you're legally here and you've become a legal citizen, you're an American. You just aren't an American that was born here. But if you have a baby, then that is an American baby. You can try to attach whatever you want to it, but no, it's an American baby. Just like President Obama back in the day in Hawaii. American baby, right? We went through all that. And that's one thing Candace Owens, she's pushing the thing that Kamala Harris is saying about, the Janet Jackson started this thing. Well, nobody. It wasn't Janet Jackson. So last I heard was, and I haven't even heard Janet Jackson's thing, but I guess she said something about, well, she's not even black, is she? Right? Or whatever. She's Indian or whatever, which we've all heard that. So then everybody jumped on Janet Jackson. Like, you can't say that, because your brother has a song that doesn't matter if you're black or white, right? But anyway, so Candace Owens started doing deep dive. What nationality is this woman? Let's figure it out. Nobody's doubting. It's not like Obama. Was she even born here? There's 100% she's born here. Her dad was, I guess, Trump keeps saying a Marxist, but I 100% agree. In my opinion, she's a traitor to our country. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So anyway, Candace Owens claims now that in Kamala's book, she's lied about who her grandmother was, that the black woman that she showed with is actually just somebody that passed away 4 years before she was even born. So there's no possible way or her true grandmother. So there's no possible way that woman in the picture, whoever she was, isn't her grandmother. So I'm not even going down that rabbit hole like they did back with the Obama thing. I knew that was back when I was a Democrat. I'm like, what are they even doing? Surely somebody, I would assume, has looked at this before he could even get to the point where he's at, that they would know. And I'm not saying it was falsified or it was made up or whatever, but you don't put a guy up that's going to run to be president knowing that you need that and not have it there or able to be shown or whatever. It was a huge deal that went on. It was insane in my opinion. But that's what Trump does, and I will tell you that. That's it's kind of crazy. You'll hear the thing, and I'm just watching that, and I thought it was the stupidest thing he could do is go, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the what? I'm like, what is he talking about? And then it's oh, well, he opened up our mind to what's going on, that somehow on our dime, not all of them. You go back and watch these videos too from this Nick Johnson. He's even talked to one. Seems like a pretty good dude, but they're just there. And what's funny is the majority of them are only there for a 2-year to a 5-year, a visa thing. You can come here and work, but then you got to go back. But then somehow they all do seem to be living very well, and a lot of them are sending money back home. So what you've done, you have not helped America. You have not helped American people. What you're doing is you're helping whatever business was there. Technically, you could say that you're helping the Haitians, but you could also say that you're taking advantage of them and you're just kind of using them. You're bringing them in, you're making them for whatever purpose you're using them for, and then you're going to send them back. But what I think is their ultimate purpose, they're going to bring people over here, and then once you are born on this soil, like I talked about a minute ago, you're an American. You got a reason to be here. So it's well, if we get I'm just looking at this, if you look at how people see it, I just always look at what's the downside to that? I want to help people out too. I'm all for, people living their best lives, right? That's what I was trying to do until these politics jumped in my face, because I was oh my God, where'd common sense go? So if you go off of what way it's really been for 3.5 years. I can't believe that China hasn't even taken advantage of this more. They only have like 25,000 Chinese citizens that have been, recorded coming over. They're still technically, I believe every one of them still like what you would call an illegal. They've been checked in and given a court date to come and, try to gain citizenship to the United States. Over like maybe 30,000 or something. With the current policies, just the way they do it, you could literally, China has like still over like 1 billion people. They could decide, you know what? Let's just send 150 million over to the United States. What are they going to do? Right now, there's like this pathway. It's a caravan. It's like they call it the migration. Like everybody's migrating and trying to decide they want to send however many million Chinese over. So what policy should you have that would stop that? Whether it be one person or 1 million, 100 million, to not even trying that because our policies do not allow that. Quite simply, it's not catch and release into our country. It never should have been. I don't even know what's going on with this crazy stuff that this world is going, what is happening. So they keep saying, well, Trump said he was going to make Mexico pay for the wall. Well, technically, they didn't maybe pay for the building materials of the wall. But go back and do your research on this one. I didn't even know this until I started checking. And I could be totally wrong, but I checked like 2 different places that basically what it forced Mexico to do was up their game in their immigration. So basically they added, I want to say 30,000 of their own troops on our southern border, their northern, and then another 30 on their southern border to keep them from coming into their country, because they realized, oh shoot, man, he's leaving here. Just like if you guys have watched on different things, once you had the governor of Texas start like loading them up in buses and shipping them to New York or wherever and making them take them somewhere else, like I can't take any more in the state of Texas. Like he even went down, you guys can fact check, he went and put up barbed wire stuff, like nobody's coming in this way. They went down, Biden did this, and I'm sure Kamala was the last one in the room. Made him open that back up. He's like, I'll stop them from coming in. They ain't gonna be able to make it in. They just Mexico deal with them. They're over there, right? So anyway, you can take all that border stuff as you want. I'm gonna just make one final say on abortion, but everybody tries to tell me that, Charlie, you can't say anything. You're a guy. I'm a human being. Last time I checked, it does take 2 to tango, and using abortion as a last resort birth control, that's not what it's. I don't know who's the first doctor that invented abortion. Like, oh, I can just suck this thing right out and you're fine. Yeah, no problem. Like, is there something morally wrong with it? Nah, you're fine. Nah, it's fine. That's not even nothing yet. Like, does that make sense? Like, well, I don't care if you're an atheist, if you believe in God, Jehovah, whoever. Like, what's funny is you get all these religious things going on and arguments. It's like, don't you guys you truly believe they're in Jesus, right? Like I believe it's in the Quran, Judaism, Christianity, Jehovah's Witness. It's like Christianity is like this crazy, just there's like if they start separating out and going here and going there, like you're going to have 150 religions that say Jesus was this, but it wasn't that and wasn't whatever. But so they basically all end up with the same God. It's nuts. But I'm not even going off of religious beliefs, because I wanted to tell you guys this too before I talk about the abortion thing. But first, I'm going to tell you about policies and what I consider policies like. It's kind of like when you get into whether it be an intimate relationship with the person or just a business relationship or whatever, like actions and words, right? Actions speak louder than words. You get somebody come up telling you all kinds of stuff they're going to do this and that, and then they don't do it. And you know how much of a push they have towards doing that. And that's what you got to watch these politicians. I'm telling you guys, they got all these bills and it's going to do this and it's going to do that. How much backing they put into that. That all depends on how well it's done. The stuff going on down there, other than I believe the physical building of the wall was already there with Obama. Like it was already there. Obama, you guys can try to fact check me. I believe he deported 3 million illegal immigrants while he was in office. I believe he has the biggest single day drone strike on history of a sitting president. And they all keep pushing like, well, Trump was doing that. Like, it's just kind of, we've got to this point where now, like, Obama, good, he was this great president, which I think he was. I think he was doing, wasn't the greatest. I don't know. I don't really think we had a true great president, or, we wouldn't be even arguing over what we're doing right now. I think we are for, like, the beginning, came over, wrote up the Constitution, and that kind of stuff was pretty good. I take that back. George Washington had all the power, could have stayed whatever, and he got, you know what? No, I think we just, and brought it back to where it's just, the most is 2 terms, and then out, get new blood in. Why isn't that everywhere in the rest of it? Like, why do we have and they have the sitting judges because of what they claim they can't really, during an election, they can't be tempted one way or the other in making decisions, right? That's why they're like lifers. They just, once you're in, you are fair on everything. Problem is, I think they somehow end up getting money or stuff pushed their way. It's like corruption everywhere, right? But so when you get this stuff wrote up, and that's why lawyers, are you a lawyer? I'm sorry. No, wait, I might need your help later if this video goes viral. But no, seriously, I have always seen that you can look at something, like you go back and look at what Biden claims in the beginning, he's always pushed for help and doing this and that with the border, and then it's just been left to what it's become. And that's because you can kind of finagle all that kind of stuff. It's like they're telling you something and then their actions. So if you go off the actions, and I suggest you guys do that. Do you feel you're better off now than you were 3.5, almost 4 years ago, or were we better under Trump? I think we were better under. We were definitely safer, regardless of what you think, and you're going to claim that the fact that Roe versus Wade was overturned and we can't have this, there's still and I'm not even big on birth control, but you can think of 5 different ones just off the top of my head that are perfectly, one of those is going to be safe for you. There's also a morning after pill that can be taken 1 to 9 days, right after that, before. And Christians will tell you conception, you shouldn't do that. But before it becomes an actual abortion, aborting a baby, which we try to call a fetus or just the size of a pea. And I will tell you my take on it real quick. I think life begins with that heartbeat. Now, this comes from an automotive side of things, right? Start up a car, you hear something, that's running. Like your body, that heartbeat kicks in, you're running, you're on, right? In my opinion, that's a life. Usually, how do you check for life? You come up, you guys, whether it's in the movies, how many people have actually come across dead bodies? But anyway, that you need to check for a pulse. So you're checking, if there's a heartbeat, there's a life, right? So that's it. I don't know, it seems so simple to put it right there. I don't even think you should do it, period. I think the minute you have taken whatever decision and choice that has led you down the path to where I'm pregnant, deal with it, or deal with it for that many months and then put it up for adoption, give it away, right? If a doctor, and this is where the only, under the essay, you can't, there's certain words they will stop the video if you say, so I can't say certain things. But if you did not consent to the process that required, that you got pregnant, then yes, I believe that under the which everybody, it seems to be a general thing, but just the 650,000 that are done roughly, and that numbers could have changed this year. I'm going over what I looked up, was there when I looked it up. That seems like way high numbers. And so what can happen is right now we're actually at a point where we can barely basically keep up with how many Americans are passing away. So you have 3.2, 3.5 million Americans, or people in America dying. But you can use those rough numbers. But anyway, then that's roughly how many babies are being born a year. There's 18 to 20% of, legal immigrants here that maybe make up that number. And this is, yes, all colors and nationalities of the spectrum. So when your country is barely, and it's all of, if you guys feel free to look up this information, it's like Western civilization. Once we become where we think we're, and some people, I don't feel I am, but like we're better than everybody, right? We're more civilized, right? Oh, and then we have that, like, I call it a mind virus. Like, oh, this world is so horrible. I wouldn't want to bring a baby into this world. Well, what world are you going to wait for? Like, is this a Matrix? We're going to get reloaded and get a chance again at these evil robots? Like, this is it. Now's the best time in the world to have baby. We have all, like, the medical stuff. You may not like it, but it's the best it's ever been, and everything. Like, there's not, it's like this mind virus that's being fed to people once they become to this status of like, oh, look at all this going on. Like, no, yes, there will be a time when the world is overpopulated. But the time for Americans to stop having babies isn't when all these other people are rushing in, because what I feel will happen, and this is just me looking like and it may be from watching too many movies, that's a possibility. We're here as our population, and that's just barely staying like even. But if you're allowing every 4 years, every presidency, 10 to 20 million on top of the 800,000 immigrants. So your beliefs and just America, what it is, like, you're like, everybody will put on there like, oh, back to when I was this or that, and like the good old days, right? And it's like, when you're basically being lied to, it'd be different if everybody decided, or we did have this problem like, oh man, American women just can't get pregnant. Like, the only way we're going to, stay whatever is if we bring in immigration to just help sustain, like, it's nothing like that. I feel we're being lied to, because I see the Democrats wanting to push, and I think a lot of them wouldn't even believe this, but they're pushing that is because it's just become on the Democratic side, we're for, women's rights, like the struggle women have had forever against man and, their feminism stuff, which I don't want to get in it on this video. Maybe I'll put out a video where I consider that feminism is never good, but it's turned into floozyism, right? Feminism, floozyism. Is there anything wrong with it? I don't know. Maybe in a different video. I've talked enough. I need to go. I got to clean these fish tanks today. So before I go, I'm going to show you real quick. Hang on. You guys know the deal. I'll flip the script real quick. Oh, boy. So, and it won't come out that good because I don't have the filters on. So I got into fishing, and I'm going to change the filtering systems, clean out these tanks. The glass mainly is what's dirty, but I got into clownfish. These clowns are clowns because they won't actually host an anemone, which I have 2 of them down here. There's one, and there's one. We're going to do a lot of fishing. I can't say that I will ever be a Democrat again, but like what I feel it believes in and pushes right now is not for me. So, as I get out of here, last thing I want to talk about is our that none of us picked, because nobody really picked Kamala, but she picked Tim Walz. Now, I would highly suggest, because Elon Musk is actually the first one I heard talking about this. And I know Elon Musk, he's not American. I get it. But he was talking about how he felt his son, and he was kind of lied to about what they did in California, this and that. But go just research Tim Walz and what they want to do in his home state when he was a governor, signing off on some of this stuff of what gives them the right to do with your kids if you don't sign off on this whole gender thing. So I'm all for everybody living their life however they want. If they're an American, this is a free country to go live your life, as long as you're not harming anybody else. But when you start bringing your ideology over to other people and their kids, I do have a big fucking problem with that. So there ain't no fucking way you'll ever hear me talking about that's right. When they're that young, trying to push off all this bullshit that you got, that's not for me. You can do whatever you want. I'm fine with it. I'm one of the most degenerate persons you would probably ever meet in person, especially when I was younger. Not so much now. Do I believe in God? Just like I told you before. Yes, I 100% believe in God. But once someone mentioned to me that, well, Satan believes in God too, I'm like, oh man, got me there. He does, doesn't he? So I don't know how well. I definitely don't follow the good book 100% because I've only read through the Bible once. But I will tell you real quick that, like, go, if feminism and all this kind of stuff, go look up Rachel Wilson. She wrote a book, and Andrew Wilson, and watch Andrew Wilson and some of his debates. But like a lot of times you can kind of debate the issue that you're seeing, which will help find you the truth. If you're like, and it could be with anything, because a buddy of mine, Hillbilly, and I won't say his real name. He probably would, if he ever saw this video, he knows exactly that I'm talking about him. Not political stuff, but he kind of showed me ways to look at stuff that help you see the answer, find answers. It was on an RC car. So when you're trying to adjust the camber, right, and you're adjusting the linkages different ways, like, oh, is that going to give me more side bite, more this? So you can do the same thing in politics. Take it to the extreme. Don't listen to what somebody's telling you they want to do. What if they do that all the way, right? Kind of like I talked about, what if all the, Chinese decide they want to come over? So look at their policies and what they go by, and then just go to the extreme. So I'll just do the Democratic side right now. So, like, and they can lie about it right now, what they're wanting to do, but they don't think anybody should have a gun. Seriously, like, I've heard several of them say that. Like, no, there's no reason that in today's world, that people need guns. I'm not going to believe that one. I don't know who you're trying to push that onto. Well, you don't need assault rifles. Well, what's an assault rifle? An AR style? Like, I can show you hunting rifles, that had the ban on the clip, magazines, or some people I still want to call them clips. Charles always corrects me for that. But so, going to do away with guns. Going to open up the borders and let anybody in. It's going to defund the police. Like, that's a problem. Police are like, so and then people that are out committing crimes, like, well, we probably shouldn't, like, there's a reason why they did that. Like, they're probably struggling, so maybe we shouldn't follow up, maybe let them go, which somebody could argue that in police chases where it does end up with somebody getting, they're just basically the criminal's problem, but it was put on to by the police chasing them, that they've run into an innocent person, civilian, that their life's taken, or real bad injury. That one could sort of be argued, but man, you can't just let criminals just get away with it. Like, when somebody's doing something, you got to do something. But if you just start following the main things, the Democrats, like, if they have their way unimpeded, what will happen? Like, what would be the outcome? Chaos. Like, how could you, like, and then the guy that's developed something that's not called a gun, devises a way to protect himself. Like, now it's to this point nowadays, like, unless somebody is causing you this certain thing, you kind of have to let yourself be put in several different situations, and you don't have the right to protect yourself. And if you do, you could still be the one found guilty and go to jail. And it's like, oh my goodness, is this America? Like, let's figure out how to deal with mental illness, get rid of the people that are menace to society, get them out of our American society, and let's go on with living and not have to ask this question, am I racist? What is a woman? Like, what are these stupid things that we're asking ourselves? Like, white privilege. And my aunt told me that I've definitely received white privilege. I'm just white and I don't see it. Like, last time I checked, nobody offered to fly me to a different country, give me $200,000, $500,000 a month to live, already had the job signed up. Like, where's this white privilege? Like, where's the DEI hired that's helping me out. Like last time I checked, white privilege is a joke. Like there's rich privilege, there's relation privilege, just like you've all probably worked at a different place that the person will hire somebody else in their family, and which could there be something to be argued there or whatever, but I've never experienced where just the fact I walk in, hey, can I help you? Yeah, I want to cash in my white privilege. Yeah, I want cash. No, I don't want check. I want to cash in my white privilege. Like, where does that even come from? It's insane. And somebody will be commenting like, oh, well, you don't get it and you don't, whatever, dude. Listen, I come from nothing, still ain't got hardly anything. So don't get pushing on white privilege. You can push that go somewhere else with that crap. So anyway, guys, hopefully, I don't know, I opened your eyes on, not proving anything. Just look at the stuff yourself. This is coming up. This is an important election. Now, is it the end of the world? Both sides have said that. Trump's this. Oh, Trump's saying, oh, well, I believe it's more towards that side because we cannot keep allowing 10 to 20 million illegal immigrants to plop in, and it's on our back. It's on our money, guys. It's on the American. And you can argue all you want, not only this person or that person actually pays tax. We all pay taxes in this country. Whether you file a tax and then you get so much back at the end of the year, child tax credit, this and that, you get stuff taken out that is not yours to spend throughout the entire year, depending on how you claim, whether you get some of that back, all that back. That's the government. It's using your money, right? It's like if you went and got a loan, like I need $1 million, and then you give it back to them at the end of the year, you pay off the $1 million, and then you kept whatever was made off that $1 million on your savings or whatever. Now, if you took the chance to invest it different ways and not just have it in a thing where it's a guarantee there, it's going to have a little bit of money and do whatever, but that's what our government does with our money. Even the ones that get it back at the end of the thing. But then we're taxed on all the different food and all the different gas and whatever. So all the money that they're using is our money to help Americans. There's a process to become an American citizen. You do not have to be born here to be an American citizen. Then once you have family that's born here, then you're an American. Like, I don't even, if you want to attach the this or that American to your name, once you're born here, you're an American. Hey, welcome to America. We need to fix it, the crazy shit that's going on, and go back to, this is back when I did hear Obama saying in the speech, but like, we need to go back to what really matters. And we need to get back to, how do you keep, I don't know, just the normal stuff going on? Like, how do you keep your family, your kids safe, protected? And then when they try to throw that aboard, like, oh, your kids, your like, yeah, I don't want my granddaughter thinking that, well, I can do whatever I want because there's abortion and I'll just get one if it comes to that. Like, that's not a way to ingrain into your kids' heads to be. Like, whether you are for it or not, it's first of all, very hard process on the person, both physically and mentally. So it just should be something we should do away with, support birth control, and then let them go all willy-nilly if they decide on doing that kind of stuff. And then the abortion should be to save the life of the mother in case of a assault situation, and that's needed to be done. And if they're going to do that, which I mean, and it's technically how they still do it. Also, I've still yet to hear anybody arguing the fact that when somebody is accused of something, there's proof that that's happening because they're going to have to give the abortion to fix that problem. Then there should also be the DNA taken, and then that person that caused that problem should be, that male should be held to some other higher thing. The push there should be for a higher penalty of what took place, basically, is all I'm saying. If, I know 2 wrongs don't make a right, so technically essaying someone, then getting an abortion, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 wrongs just might, right? Take the DNA, track down who it was. First of all, there's a whole thing with that, because if somebody says they were, then you just got to make sure they are, and they're not just going in there saying that, because if it's banned for everything else but being RAPE, then they just go in like, yeah, I was RAPE, and they're going to get one. But then you should have to demand who, what was the DNA, go get that, find them, and also know that they're going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent through our system. Like that's something we take on. It's not going to have to be through the family. Like that's part of the law that they will be pushed to the highest. So then it would kind of do two things. It would take care of who is responsible for causing that, but then it would also give not just letting women come in using that as an excuse to basically for their, won't say their wrongdoings, but their lack of taking care of business, what should have been done in the first place. Anyway, that's just my opinions on it. You guys, and yes, I change my opinions. I've voted Democrat the whole way when it's presidential Democrat. I hardly ever go vote anyway for small stuff, just like when presidents come up. So I guess I shouldn't release my tax forms, but I will release my voting history. I started voting back when, I want to say, was it Clinton? I never voted I was a kid when Reagan was in. I remember Jimmy Carter. I went down that deep dive too. Go watch it's on Netflix, I believe, 3 Mile Island. It doesn't really talk about Carter, but he's in it. He was kind of lying to the American public about how nasty nuclear stuff could be, because he even went down there, but just go watch 3 Mile Island. Like I always saw Jimmy Carter as this very quiet, couldn't hurt a fly, kind of president, but he maybe is a little something's going on there. I'm not sure. But after watching the video, I'm like, yeah, just because you had some stuff to do with nuclear stuff, I think maybe you were lying to the American people there. But anyway, if you guys don't know that story, Reagan beat him basically by coming in saying, you elect me and I'll get rid of those terrorists. And he did, because he made a treaty with them. He got or not get rid of the terrorists, he'll get the hostages back from them. So he did, but he made a deal with them, and you guys know the deal there. But go look at all that. But yeah, it was like Carter didn't know what to do. I can't do this and that. It's like, well, you just got to do something. Get your American people back, get it figured out. Anyway, hopefully this kind of got you thinking about it. Maybe, hopefully you just bypassed right by this and you somehow ended up back here at the end of it and you're like, what, Charlie, what are you going to do? I'm looking to get back into fishing maybe next spring. It's too late to even mess with it now. Once me and Charles went fishing, I came back, shut everything down, and I still don't really have a true desire to get the fishing rods out and go hit it. If you guys are wanting a video on the live scope and my idea, there's been a live scope debate on the whole fishing industry. We always got to debate everything. First thing you do, you jump on Facebook, somebody's like, hit me with your best shot. Like everybody wants to be a debater now. It's like, oh my God, you're a master debater. Proud of you. So anyway, I'm out of here, guys. I'll probably make another video. I'll see how well this one goes or doesn't go, or if YouTube even allows it to stay. But thanks for watching. I'm out. I don't know how to shut these things off anymore. Let's try this button.